Right, in yesterday's video about Saskia, I mentioned that I wanted to put in a Champion Lambholt. Then going through my collection, I realized I only have one copy, and it's an Edric. So, in today's video, what I'm going to do is look at which deck needs it the most. If I only have one copy of a card, how do I balance it to give it to the deck that needs it the most? So let's take a look at Edric first. So what does Champion of Lambholt do for Edric? Why do I have it in the deck? What do I hope to get out of it? Is there anything better? So let me find Champion of Lambholt. There she is. Hey, baby. Turn the light so we can see this better. Okay. So Champion Lambholt. 1 green, 1/1 creature. Human warrior. Creature's power less than her power can't block my creatures. So, with Edric, the idea is to play a lot of small creatures quickly and overwhelm people with card advantage via Edric's ability. Edric, of course, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card. So that means that whenever my creatures hit my opponents, I get to draw cards per creature. They get to do the same, which means if they want cards, they should attack somebody that isn't me. So he's got a bit of political trickery built in. Is he going to stand up so I can... Is that clear on the... There we go, that's clear. So let's see, how effective is Champion Lambholt going to be? And do I need the effect? Do I need the duplication of the effect? So, Edric, all of his creatures, for the most part, are very low mana, small creatures. Most of them are toughness 1 or power 1 because I have Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive in the deck. Of course, he says creatures control with power or toughness 1 or less cannot be blocked. So if I have a lot of small creatures and Tetsuko is out, whenever I attack, they just get through. The other thing is most of the creatures, I try to have as many with native evasion as possible, flying for the most part. Land walk where I can get it. And then I've got creatures that supplement the deck, add to it. So how big can Champion of Lambholt really get in Edric? Okay, let's say I play her on turn 3. And then I'm casting, after that, turn 4, 1 or 2 small creatures a turn. She's not going to build it very fast. Not at all. Now with Edric, like I said, the idea is that I play a lot of small creatures, smash, draw cards, so I have full hand, so I have more creatures. And that's why I have this card. That's why I have Alluren in the deck. Alluren 2 green, anybody may play a creature with CMC 3 or less whenever the hell they feel like it without paying its mana cost. So if I draw a bunch of cards, I can just dump the creatures I find, for the most part, onto the board. Because, as I said, most of them are small. Most of them don't have a high mana cost. He's an outlier. So he's low mana cost, but he's 2/2, so Tetsuko does nothing for him, but he's here because he shuts out people's artifacts. The only artifacts I have in the deck are Sol Ring and Winter Orb. Winter Orb, it's a static ability. It doesn't get shut off by the Collector Roof. Sol Ring, if it gets shut off, oh well. He'll slow down my opponents more than he will me. And I also have Sun Quan, Lord of Wu. So 4 blue for 4/4 human soldier. So he's kind of expensive. But he gives my creatures horsemanship. And horsemanship is a bit of a rare ability. So he effectively makes my creatures unblockable. So I have 2 of those. I have Tetsuko and Sun Quan. And then I put in Champion Lambholt. Now, if I draw a bunch of cards and I cast them for free via Alluren, then she can get pretty big pretty fast. She can get up, 6 counters, 7 counters pretty quickly. And if she's an 8/8, then anything smaller than an 8/8, 7/7 less, anything smaller than 7/7 can't block my creatures. So it helps keep getting them through. Now Saskia, on the other hand, what can she get out of a Champion of Lemholt? She, because she has 3 of these effects. She has a Tendershoot Dryad, she has this, and of course I can't remember the name of it. She has the white Tendershoot Dryad that creates Golem tokens, but it does exactly the same thing. Other artifact creatures I control get +2/+2 as long as the City's Blessing. Each upkeep I create a 1/1 Golem token. And I also have Boris? I want to call him Boris. I have Beledras Witherboom. So Beledras Witherboom in Saskia, of course, costs 7. He spits out a token every upkeep, and I can untap my lands. So let's look at a potential situation. Let's say I get Champion Lemholt down on turn 3 in Saskia. And the next turn I play Tendershoot Dryad. And of course we're assuming my opponents don't kill either creature and they go a full turn. So in one full turn, she will put out a creature every upkeep. So 3 of the players. So 1, 2, 3, and then my upkeep. That's 4 tokens. So she would be a 5/5. So in Saskia, anything smaller than 5/5 cannot block my creatures. And that's just 1 turn. That's not counting explosive things like I play Tempt with Vengeance for 6. If I play Tempt with Vengeance for 6, then she would have 6 on. She'd be a 7/7. And that's also discounting the possibility of having Anointed Procession or Doubling Season. So if I Tempt with Vengeance for 6 and actually get 12 because I have Doubling Season or Anointed Possession, she'd be a 13/13. So any creature less than 12 can't block my creatures in Saskia. So in Saskia, she's going to be more interesting, more explosive. Kind of a spoiler though. I was going through a box, so I've got a box of cards for my daughter, in the hopes that someday she'll play. And it's just got random cards. At one time it had a full set of Shocklands, it had a full set of fetch, 1 of each, not 4 of each, 1 of each. I'm talking about Commander set. So 10 Shocklands, 1 of each, 10 fetch lands, 1 of each. Soul Ring, it had a few swords of this and that. It had all kinds of interesting cards, but over the years, since I built it about 4 or 5 years ago, I started rating it as I built more Commander decks. And now, so she's 10. Let's say she picks up Magic in 2 years when she's 12. Let's say she does that. Most of the cards in the box are going to be obsolete. If she gets into Standard or Modern at that time, almost nothing in the box will be playable. So I'm starting to take it apart. I'm starting to take the cards. In fact, I'm going to empty the box and put the cards in there up for trade. Keep the ones that interest me still, which are not going to be that many, but there will be a few. And just kind of empty it, because if she does decide to play, I'll still have 20 Commander decks. So if she wants to play Commander, I'll have a deck she can borrow. If she wants to play Modern, we can play with my battle box of obsolete Modern decks, my suite of decks that have been superseded, no longer tournament viable. She wants to play Vintage. She wouldn't be able to afford it anyway, but she can play with my Vintage decks, powered by China. So I do have this second Champion Lemholt that I didn't know about, but this exercise is still interesting. This exercise is still useful because it makes me think, do I really need or want Champion Lemholt and Edric? She's double green, and there are a few times, because Edric wants to go fast, real fast. He needs to, because all of his creatures are weak, they're small. So if my opponents are playing big trampling bastards, I will get overrun. I will get crushed. So I need to make him as quick as possible. That's why he has a Winter Orb, Frostbringer. He has a Winter Orb, which my opponents really don't like. They don't like the Winter Orb at all, which is understandable. Fair enough. I can dig it. I don't like it when it's played against me either, even though nobody ever does, because nobody likes the card, so they don't play it. Where's my Frostbringer? So, now that I have 2 Champion of Lambholds, and I don't need to take one out of Edric to give it to Saskia, because Saskia needs it more, can use it more, it will be more interesting for her, because otherwise Edric has 2 effects that get all my creatures through. Tetsuko Mazawa, Sun Quan, Lodovu. Saskia has none of that. So Champion Lambholt would be her only effect that does that. There's the Frostbringer. So, does Edric really need Champion of Lambholt? And I started thinking, and before I found the second one, I started thinking, what would I put in instead? So I thought Spectral Sailor. I've got the anime version. This one I just pulled out for the illustration purposes of this video. Would I want to put in another creature? Right now, he has 42 creatures. So would I want to put in another creature? Flying, Flash, 3 and a blue draw card. I have Flying Men in the deck, an original Arabian Nights Flying Men. This is strictly better because Flying Men is 1 blue for a 1/1 flyer. This is 1 blue for a 1 flyer with Flash, and I get to draw a card if I have the mana to spend. Would I want that? Would I want No-Made Shepherd? Tap 4 and tap creatures you control, blow up an artifact or jam it. The thing with her is she costs 4. And in Commander, 4 isn't much. We all know 4 is not much in Commander. But in Edric, it feels like it's a lot. And as fast as he goes, and with the other things he has Reclamation Sage. He has, of course, Collector Oof to shut off opposing artifacts. To find it, do I have... I took out the Survival of the Fittest because I'm relying on pure card draw to get to these answers, to get to these things I need. So I don't know if I would put her into play. Now, she'd be great with Seaborn Muse. If I have her and Seaborn Muse out, I can just go to town, tap all my creatures, blow up a bunch of artifacts. My opponent takes their turn, I untap with them, so I've got a bunch of ready creatures. That's an idea. Or would I want another counterspell? So for counterspells, Edric already has Disallow, Counterspell, Mystic Snake. Let's see, what else? Glen Elendra Archmage, and Venser. So he has 4, and Spellslinger Sprite, so he has 5 counterspell effects. Would I want a 6th one? Is that what I would want to take out Champion Lambholt for? Or I could just put it back in Trade and Rider. Another card that really is, this has been in the deck, this was in the deck for years. At least 10 years. And then I realized, going through the deck, I don't really play him. He costs 4, he's 1/4, so he can attack, but he's here to bounce something back to its owner's hand. But I don't really use it. I don't really need it. And it's only once per turn, unless, well, even if I have Seed Bermuda, it's only once per turn because he has to tap himself. And I don't have anything that taps on my creatures. So that's another idea. Or I just leave in Champion Lambholt because I did realize I have a second copy. And Edric has 1, and Saskia has 1. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go. But that's the point of this exercise, is to determine, look at my decks, and some of you have multiple commander decks, and sometimes you'll have a card, you only have 1 copy, And for whatever reason, you just don't feel like buying another one. Either, in my case, the first thing I did when I thought I only had one copy is I went to Trinity Retige and saw if they had any more. She's only a 75 crown card, which is about $3 US, but they don't have any. So I'd have to order it on MKM. And I don't feel like going to Magic Card Market and ordering just one €3 card. Just not really something that interests me, especially with all the cards I have in my art binder, all the cards I've bought over the years and not used for whatever reason for Commander decks. I don't really need to go buying a second copy of a card. I just need to place the card where it's most useful, and then if I have to take it out of a deck where it's not quite as useful as what it's going into, I just need to think carefully about what Edric is trying to do, to name something specific, and what do I lack? What am I missing? Am I missing interaction, i.e. counterspells? Am I missing tricks, i.e. No-Made Shepherd, Trident Rider? Or do I just want another creature to hit somebody with? So that's the exercise for today. So Champion of Lemholt will be going into Saskia, and if I do take the one out of Edric, I really don't know what I'm going to put in because I've got so many damn options. Excuse me. I've got just a lot of blue and green cards I could put in.